Alright, so I know I have a bad habit of leaving for extended periods of time, but this time, I promise I have a good excuse. So firstly, you can tell I'm not in the same house. I'm currently in the process of moving, which is taking a lot longer than I thought I was going to, but we also have a little goober. He's very full of soup right now, by the way. He just finished eating. He's so incredibly full of soup. It's really honestly kind of impressive how full of soup he is. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10 of being full of soup, he definitely tries to stay at an 11. But I actually am gonna take him upstairs because he will continue to gnaw at my feet while I'm recording. So I'll be right back.
Michael! Don't leave me here!
You guys are probably wondering why I'm making a video on Disney Channel Zapped, of all things. Well, Zendaya's been on kind of a hot streak recently, and I think we need to humble her a little bit, so I think reminding her of her roots will do just fine. I think conceptually Zapped is just a very interesting movie as well because it's based on a thing that just kind of never worked anyway. This movie was released on June 27, 2014, which was definitely during the big boom of smartphones. When smartphones became popular, everyone started to download like the dumbest shit. I mean, like, think of all those apps that existed that kind of served no purpose, like a fan app on your phone that said it was a fan but really just turned your speaker on super loud. I mean, I myself and anybody else who was 12 during 2014 was partial to the app that just had a bunch of guns and cigarettes and you could pretend like you were shooting guns and smoking cigarettes. I know, not the most imaginative thing anyway, but when you're 12, guns and cigarettes are really cool, I guess. That being said, I actually didn't have a smartphone until I was 18, but my parents did give me like this weird Samsung tablet thing, so I would just have like a comically large beer every time I decided to drink my phone beer. But those apps were fine because I was 12. I was allowed to be stupid. But a lot of other apps, like the Mirror app that I saw an actual lady use, was like $4.99, and all it did was turn your front camera on. I saw another man who had an easy button on his phone, and the easy button was like a really big thing back then, but I know for a fact he paid 99 cents for it. And you have to remember that these people can vote. There's also that one app that was just basically a $500 fuck you button. You pay $500, and I think the app was literally just called I paid $500 for this app or some shit like that, and people bought it. I just think that the premise of this movie being that the main character buys one of these apps is really funny because it's not like people do this anymore. Nobody really tries to buy apps that control their dogs because we as a society understand that that shit does not fucking work. But back in the early days of smartphones, everybody thought that would work. And I don't know, we can't act like we're that much smarter as a society because now we have people using ChatGPT as Google, and I'm pretty sure it's killing the earth. Stupidity never dies, it kind of just evolves. That being said, I'm pretty sure this movie's gonna be a blast because I don't think it has aged well at all. But let's travel to the mystifying land of 2014 and watch Disney Channel's original movie, Zapped. Zapped begins with the wedding of our main character's mother and newfound stepfather, as she gives a toast using her Toast app. Because as we all know, cups were outlawed during Obama's second term in 2013. This is Zoe Stevens, played by Zendaya. Zoe's speech starts out really sweet, but it quickly devolves into an all-out roast session on her stepfather's family. These three are the Thompson sons. The movie treats them as if they're one entity, so I'm gonna do the same by making them share one name card. In the order of most to least knowing characters, these three are played by Connor Cowie, William Ainscaw, and Adam DeMarco. In most cases, publicly shaming everyone at a wedding might seem like a bad idea, but in Zoe's case, she's actually perfectly justified. Because the Thompson family kinda fucking sucks. As if by divine intervention, the Thompson sons somehow managed to loose the dog as it wreaks havoc on the entire wedding. This leads to Zendaya getting comically slathered in a layer of chocolate sauce. A week later, Zendaya finally moves into the house of her new stepfamily, which seems like something they should have done sooner than before the fucking wedding, right? Or maybe I'm just some sort of impure heathen, but I don't know. I feel like cohabiting is a thing that you kind of should do before marrying someone. I know that some religions prohibit or at least look down on that type of thing, but when you're moving in with 4 new people, yeah, I'd want to know what they live like before I lived with them. Because that is a big part of knowing whether or not your lifestyles are compatible, and in this case, they're really not. Every school day, all the children in the house get the Ted Thompson wake up ritual, which consists of sounding a loud horn and yelling at everyone while they quite literally stumble and trip over each other for 15 full minutes. I mean, I feel kind of bad for these guys. It really looks like they're just trying to find their way back into reality. And this is at 6:45 in the morning too. If my dad did this to me, I would probably not do anything. He'd probably beat my ass if I tried to. Ted Thompson is played by Alex Ponovic. He's a sweet-hearted guy, but his spirit animal is probably fucking Loudred. Zoe gets ready for her day using her beauty planner app. Leaving your appearance up to an AI in 2014 is surely a bold move. After she finishes getting ready, she runs into Adam, the oldest of the Thompson sons. He isn't really a bad person, but he definitely has undiagnosed ADHD. This disgusting little shit is Zach. His whole thing is that he makes the most disgusting meals that you've ever witnessed. This bit continues throughout the movie, and I promise you it doesn't get any more entertaining. This is the type of kid that you sit next to in middle school, and he takes his Lunchable chicken nugget and like dips it into his cheese sauce and then his Capri Sun, and it's the most disgusting shit you ever seen, but he swears up and down it's delicious, and he acts like he's a mad scientist and tries to get everyone to eat it. And it's not funny. It never was. Grow the hell up. Sorry, just realized that joke is no longer relevant. So he would take his Lunchly, the pizza, and dip it into his Prime Hydration sports drink. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Also, this kid is the worst actor in the movie by a long shot. I know he's a child actor, but every scene he's in, he manages to stick out like a sore thumb, even when he's not talking. I don't know, man. I get he's 13 and he's a child actor, but you can be a bad child actor or you can be annoying, but you can't be both. I have to draw the line somewhere. There's also this other little kid, and his whole thing is just that he's fucking gross. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He's just disgusting. The last family member is Zoe's mother, Janine, played by Lucia Walters. And surprisingly, she's maybe the least important character in this whole movie. I'm being completely serious. She has, I think, 4 entire scenes, which you'd think she'd be more of a main character given that she got married at the start of the movie, but I don't know. So we're now at Zoe's school, which has the most unbalanced gender ratio I have ever seen. I mean, every clique in this school is comprised of entirely males. From the geeks to the freaks, there's not one single girl in this scene. Well, except for this one, that one, and over there, there's one, that one, and this one, and all of these guys. But Zoe doesn't talk to any of them. They never really do anything. And it's pretty obvious that it's because this movie is going to have a very insisting point to make about men. So instead of talking to any of the normal girls, she talks to Trip Van Winkle, played by Jedediah Goodcare. I'm 90% sure that's how she said his last name. I swear I'm not making that one up. To put it lightly, Trip fucking sucks. I know he's 16, but he farts on someone, and I don't think that's funny at any age. Luckily, Zoe soon meets Rachel, played by Chanel Peloso. She's a boy-crazy weirdo who is currently obsessed with a guy who is like 2 tiers removed from Leafy is here. Rachel offers to help Zoe find her class, but she takes her to the wrong room, which is where Zoe meets Jackson, played by Spencer Boldman. Jackson is the smooth-talking, handsome, smart, and funny popular guy at the school who's got more game than a Nintendo Switch. Jackson and Zoe's entire interaction is overheard by Jackson's jealous ex-girlfriend, Taylor. She's like Sharpay Evans, or Bucky Buchanan, or Audrey Rose, or Tess Tyler, or Stacey DeBane. Taylor is played by Amelia McCarthy, and she's the queen bee/diva who thinks she's more important than she actually is. Taylor is the team captain for the school's dance crew, but the dance crew is full, and she only lets super talented people join. Maybe I've got some residual stupid in my head from when I watched the Fred movie, but if your team is full, why the fuck are you having tryouts? Are you just gonna kick someone out if you find someone more talented? I don't think that's how it works. At tryouts, Zoe goes to grab her dancing shoes, and she finds that they've been covered in pancake mix from her brother trying to make feastable pancakes. So instead of using her nice clean shoes that are already on her feet, she decides to try and wear these instead. Don't get me wrong, I get the point of wanting to wear the right shoes for the situation, but there is no way in hell that these are better than these. Some of these people are wearing fucking Vans, so I promise you you'll be fine. Zoe gets on the dance floor and straight up jorks it, but then she decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm better than all of you, and starts doing her own thing, which unsurprisingly backfires. Which I'd hate to say it, but she kinda deserves that. I mean, this is literally like your classic Icarus story, is it not? Zoe pleads her case that she's actually goated as fuck, and Taylor lets her on the JV team. And Rachel too, because the hero needs a sidekick. But that does mean she gets to meet up with Dog. It's our white boy Dog. Let's go Dog. Fuck it up Dog. Okay, well it turns out the JV team sucks. How the fuck does the JV team suck? If you have too many people for the varsity team, there should be at least some talent that made its way to the junior varsity team, right? I mean, how does the drop go from sexiest people you've ever seen to Grandmaster Marvel Rivals players? After a terrible day at school, Zoe goes home to find out that her room has been destroyed by her dog, including this tiny castle that's super important to her for some reason. This is Zoe's final straw. She decides that she's fucking had it, so she goes to the App Store and she downloads an app for $9.99, or $13.70 in today's money, and she manages to finally control Humphrey. This lasts for about 2 minutes before Humphrey just gets pissed and then throws her phone in the bathtub. I mean, that's fair. If someone came up to you and started playing some super annoying sound, like 100 gecs, and started telling you what to do, you'd probably crash out too. After the phone is dropped into the bath, Ben takes the phone and Willow Smiths it, launches it out of the house, into the satellite dish, down a solar panel, and into a dog bowl. But don't worry, it's nothing some good old rice won't fix. And that is the most important thing the mom will do in the entire movie. I am completely serious, do not expect anything else from her. So because Zoe's phone is destroyed, she has nothing else to do besides go to sleep and wake up the next morning. Why is this fuck-ass dog in your bed again? Don't get me wrong, I fuck with this dog, but she doesn't fuck with this dog, right? This is the same dog that not 12 hours ago trashed your room, destroyed your phone, and one of your most closely held possessions, correct? And you just let him sleep in your room? After finding out that her phone is working again, Zoe immediately goes back to trying to control Humphrey. But instead now it controls the local mailman. Or should I say, the local freak man. For astute viewers, you might have noticed that the only thing on the app that changed was actually the frequency of the sound just doubled, meaning that there's actually nothing special about this app, like, at all. Either men are just controlled by super high frequencies and/or beautiful black women. Ben comes inside covered in mud and Zoe tells him to get off her dick. Zach comes into the room and then she tells him to put something down and pick it up again. But the weird thing to me is that these guys seem to have no clue that they're being controlled, but the mailman seemed like he was about to call his local priest to figure out what was going on with him. But Zoe gets to the bottom of it when she runs into Trip once again and pieces 2 and 2 together. Trip freaks out about the absolute lack of control that he has over his body, and I mean that in a very literal sense, as one of the commands that she gives Trip is for him to just straight piss himself. He just pisses himself. There is some fucking freaky woman in the writer's room living some freaky ass fantasy right now. I need to meet whoever this is and either slap them or shake their hand, because this is honestly kind of insane, yet impressive. Zoe and Rachel head to the bathroom where she runs into Taylor once again and she learns that the app doesn't work on girls. This is because the first thing that she says to her is, "Down, girl." Oh, okay. So Zendaya gets to walk into a woman's restroom and tell someone, "Down, girl," and it's completely fine for some reason, but I do it and I end up in prison for 8 years? Zoe decides to get to work making the world a better place by getting rid of people's passions and hobbies. She tells the gamers to start doing yoga, turns the skaters into gentlemen, and tells the guy who just kinda stink into groomers. I mean, she makes them groom themselves, not like Minecraft YouTuber type of groomer. I don't even know why there's a group of people that refuse to clean themselves in the first place. None of these people are old enough to even drive a Subaru. Zoe also makes the guys who work out a lot put their shirts back on by making them insecure in their bodies, but Rachel quickly undoes that. Hashtag free the nipple. She also makes Charlie, Rachel's crush, more open and expressive about his feelings toward her, which actually maybe seems a little unhealthy? After making Trip decide to actually be nice for once in his useless life, she takes a look back on the world she's created and decides, yeah, I've definitely done the right thing because I've taken away the interests and hobbies of dozens of people and replaced them with new ones that aren't actually any better. I think I just like them more. Except for the anti-shower guys, I have no arguments against that one. When returning home, she tells Adam to be focused, which essentially just replaces his ADHD with autism. She turns Zach into Carmen Berzotto, makes her stepfather effectively mute, and gives her brother the kind of OCD that makes you a really good detective for some reason. The only person that I would honestly say she helped here is Zach. She actually just straight up took away her father's ability to communicate, and Adam just straight up can't get anything done anymore. Say what you want about Adam, but at least he was productive before. And I guess the fact that Ben likes cleaning is good now, but he spends his whole day thinking about what the dirtiest thing in the room is and how he can get rid of it. While taking Humphrey on a walk, Zoe runs into Adam reading a book alone in the park, which means it's time for a pop quiz on which book he's reading. Here are your options. A, The Bluest Eye, B, The Maze Runner, C, To Kill a Mockingbird, and D, Clockwork Orange. Got your answer? If it was To Kill a Mockingbird, you'd be correct. To be very, very clear, I have no issues with this book. If you grew up in the 2000s, you're probably at least tangentially aware of what this book is about, but putting this in a DCOM is kind of insane if you really think about it. Kids have really great internet access these days, and they did back in 2014. When you Google this movie and the synopsis comes up, it's not a very kid-friendly thing. Furthermore, he goes on to not be surprised when Zoe says it's her favorite book. He says she should be able to relate to the book because it's about a young girl who thinks that she has the whole world figured out, only to figure out that she has it all wrong, and that's verbatim. Zoe refutes that and says it's about a young girl who keeps her humanity in perspective while the world around her goes crazy. Listen, maybe I read the wrong book, but I'm 90% sure that this book is about a black man who gets wrongfully accused of a very serious crime in the 1930s. And I'm quite sure that this book is a critique on racial injustice during that time period, but I don't know. I'm just the silly YouTube guy. That actually had nothing to do with the movie at all. I just thought it was insane enough to the point where I kind of had to reference that it happened. After returning home, Mom finds the house that Zoe left behind, and the only thing I want to talk about is that I don't think any of these are olives. They're just grapes in a bowl that says olives, and you can't change my fucking mind. Zach is a liar and a cheat, and I hated him in his Lunchley phase, and I'm gonna hate him in his Gordon Ramsay phase. The next morning, everything seems right in the world. The boys are quiet, out of Zoe's way, and best of all, the bathroom is clean. Even the boys at school have been acting a lot better. The gamers have started doing their zen in the middle of the hallway, and the gentlemen have started manscaping at the lunch table, and Charlie has now become clingier than saran wrap. But, you know, everything's fine, I guess. Because now that girls control the boys, there will be no more global conflict, and the gender war is over. That's actually what they said in the movie, by the way. I'm not making that. That's actually just what they said. At the first dance practice, Zoe is immediately elected JV captain, and she tries to instill some confidence in her teammates. Obviously that doesn't work, so she ends up using the app. I mean, come on, you saw that coming from a mile away, right? It's pretty hard to care about the conflict between Taylor and Zoe when I think Zoe is actually more morally conflicted than Taylor is. Taylor's kind of just an asshole, but she's not really, like, mind controlling anyone? I will say this, before she starts using the app, it wouldn't hurt anybody if she would just tell them to get some fucking drip. Rachel included. There is zero sauce in frame. But instead of getting these guys some fucking Gucci, she has to go to the principal's office and proposes a dance-off to decide who gets to be varsity and who gets to be junior varsity. I think Disney Channel movies often suffer from their imposed 90 minutes of runtime. Because for this to even work, Zoe kind of has to pull this out of her ass, like there's no setup for this. When leaving the office, she runs into Zaddy once again.
Hey, just the person I was looking for.
Hi, you were looking for me?
Oh, sorry, no, not you, her. Hey.
Man, I would kill myself if that happened to me. Chin up, Queen, you'll get through this. Jackson asks Zoe if she wants to hang out at the Pit Stop Diner, and I want to note, he never actually says the word date in this scene. Zoe arrives at the Pit Stop Diner and finds that Jackson has invited her to a chess club hangout, but they're still having their one-on-one dinner, The chess club's kind of in the corner doing their own thing. I don't even think they look at Zoe during this scene. But this is kind of where Zoe begins to show her truer colors. Zoe says that boys only pretend to be competitive with each other as an excuse to enjoy each other's company. Damn, girl, must be comfy underneath that blanket statement. Jackson's rebuttal to this is literally that he flips the argument and says that girls only hang out with each other as an excuse to be competitive, to which Zoe has no response. I don't even think that Jackson actually agrees with what he said. I think he's just kind of put her argument in her face and made her realize how stupid it was, because he doesn't even continue that point. He just kind of lets her sit with it. Zoe begins to panic when she realizes that she has no clue what she's doing. So she calls Rachel, who also says that she has no idea how to talk to boys. I just think it's very odd that Rachel has pillows of a guy that she hadn't talked to until yesterday, because those were probably there before, right? Zoe's plan to get Senpai to notice her is to have the other boys flirt with her and to make Jackson jealous. Okay, so not only did you miss the point of the entire last conversation you had with him, which, mind you, was 55 seconds ago, but you've now put yourself in an awkward situation where two of your date's best friends are uncomfortably hitting on you. And I mean, Jackson isn't even fazed by this at all, because once again, he doesn't like competition. I mean, he actually gives them advice on how to flirt with girls, which is pretty funny. When the scene ends, he walks her home, which would normally be a scene that ends in a kiss, but this is a Disney Channel original movie, so they have to remain celibate for at least another 2 years. The next morning, Zoe finally begins to seriously question the morality of her actions and whether or not she's doing the right thing for the people in her life. She pretty much gets a lightning round of answers that basically say, no, you're ruining the lives of everyone around you. When she tells Adam to hurry up, he falls down the stairs because Ben freshly waxed them. Zach bakes flaxseed bread that rises too high and fucks up the oven that Ben just cleaned. The groomers and the yogis have started a turf war, which I think that's a brand new sentence. And Charlie can't stop hugging everyone around him since Rachel told him that she needed more personal space. So yeah, things aren't going great. Zoe's solution to world peace is to tell every male in a 150-foot radius to stop, and then go again. And then she tells Adam to slow down again, so I think it's safe to say she has no fucking clue what she's doing. This movie also doesn't seem to have any clue whether or not people are conscious of what's happening to them, because Adam notices when he's forced to move so slowly, but nobody noticed the entire lack of motor function that everyone around them had for like 30 seconds. The JV team decides that they have no desire to dance anymore because Zoe's kind of been an asshole to them, but because Zendaya is a tyrannical leader, she rejects their resignation and forces them to dance anyway. This causes a bit of a body-mind dilemma where their bodies move, but they're clearly not having a fun time doing it. So instead of making Zoe's team better, she decides to make Taylor's team worse by making all of the male members confuse their left from their right. And then she berates Taylor's team by saying they look like a pack of dogs. All of this Jackson overhears. This information disappoints him because for some godforsaken reason, he was under the impression that Zoe was actually a good person. But Zoe says that Jackson is actually the one who's super confusing. Girl, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think you just might be stupid. But because Zendaya can't figure out what the fuck she wants, she uses the app to make him kiss her. Yes, that is just as morally questionable and completely uncomfortable as you think it is. So after Jackson pulls back, he says that he thinks they need some space. The kind of space that you need court-ordered, I think. So Zoe packs away her phone, and when she goes to the bathroom, Taylor steals it, and Zoe actually doesn't notice until the big game tonight. There's kind of this running bit in this movie that Zoe's very addicted to her phone and that she's on it like 2 to 3 hours a day. Jackson's nickname for her is literally smartphone. But she goes like 6-hour stints without even picking the thing up. I'm sure 90% of the people watching this video have more than 4 hours of screen time a day. And I get that this is 2014, but there's a running joke that she's like addicted to her phone and always on it. I don't think 2 to 3 hours a day is that crazy, even back then. At the game, Zoe pulls her family aside and explains the entire situation, and says that she's going to try and fix it. The boys have an idea to get them all back to normal, but she goes to pull out her phone and gasp! It's not in there! That's when they realize Taylor stole it literally 6 hours ago. That's I'm serious, it's been 6 hours and she hasn't even thought about her phone. So Taylor figures out which app controls boys and she kinda goes crazy with it. I might hate her, but I can't definitively say any of the stuff she's making these boys do is worse than any of the stuff Zoe was making the boys do. I mean, me personally, I think I'd rather do a kick line than yoga, but maybe that's because I'm a little gay. Okay, fuck off. That being said, making every man in a 200-foot radius bow to you is kind of crazy. Taylor could definitely benefit from some therapy, but you're gonna need more than she does after you watch the third act climax of this film. Taylor says she won't give up the app because Zoe pissed her off one time too much. Yeah, okay, Zoe did you wrong, but what the fuck did these niggas do to you? This is like if your boss at work pissed you off so you went home and decked your mom in the face. Taylor takes it one step further and makes Zoe's dad scoot around on the floor like a dog, and then makes Zach howl like a dog. Are you getting the men are dogs reference now? I don't know if the first 80 minutes of the movie laid it on thick enough with the whole men being controlled by a dog app thing, but yes, men are dogs. To get Taylor to stop, Zoe says that she'll do anything that Taylor asks. This makes her the first person to ever hear those words, the second being Tom Holland. But Taylor has her beg, dance, sit, shake, and roll over. But Adam feels bad for Zoe and decides that he's going to match her freak. So he ignores his primal programming and gets down on his hands and knees to join Zoe, along with her dad and then her brothers. And Jackson joins too. He's not even mind controlled, he's just kinky. He was going to do this anyway. This goes on for a minute, like a full 60 seconds you have to watch this. Just a room full of guys panting and shaking and barking and rolling over. It's honestly kind of horrible. But the moral of the story is, you can never make a dog turn its back on its own pack. Really? That was the moral of the story? I mean, where the fuck did that come from? Zoe's been nothing but an asshole to her family for like this entire movie. Rachel tackles Taylor, Zoe grabs the phone, and then she frees all the boys from mind control. Hooray! Nobody questions what the hell just went on, and they all decide to start playing basketball. And it kind of reminds me of the never mind all that act of 2016. Taylor talks to Zoe and has a if you're nothing without the phone then you shouldn't have it moment, except Zoe says we'll see about that and actually just destroys her phone. I mean, I feel like you could have just deleted the app, but you know what? I get the message here. Good for you. So everyone kind of gets their happy ending, and this movie runs a little longer than it needs to because this movie has not one, but two dance numbers. First, Taylor's team goes, and then Zoe's team goes. Zoe's team is better and they win, but who's surprised by this information? Oh, and I have zero clue when they choreographed any of this. Dancing was actually a much smaller part of the movie than they acted like it was going to be. And these guys resigned from the team earlier today. I don't know when they came back. Happy these guys won, but Zoe isn't even a top 5 dancer on her team. And I feel bad for the other 4 members of Taylor's team who just don't get to be on a dance team anymore due to the petty rivalry between 2 people. After the dance ends, there's no conclusion to the basketball game either. I mean, not like we really needed it, but I did kind of find it weird that they included it and then they just kind of never really talked about it. You could have just said, and the home team wins. It's a big day for everyone. I don't know. It's just kind of weird that it happened, right? This movie doesn't have a villain redemption arc. Thank God. I hate when they like make nice with the villain for no reason. And the movie ends with the family going on a run now that they've reunited. But honestly, I don't care. The movie should have ended 7 minutes ago. During the credits, there's also roughly a minute of blooper reels, but the more important thing is that there's actually an end credit tease for a Zapped 2, and I think that's really funny. Because imagine Zapped 2 comes out and it's the exact same plot, except it's just sexist towards women this time. Wouldn't it be funny if this movie was written like a giant metaphor for sexism, but it was actually just about cell phone addiction instead? Yeah, because that's what happened, right? This movie tries to act like Zoe's addicted to her phone, even in 2014, but like I said earlier, she's just not. She's almost never on it in the movie. Like, think about the scene where she's walking her dog. She's not walking her dog while on her phone. She's not on her phone before she goes to bed every night. She has a couple of stupid apps, but that's never caused any real harm to anybody. Overall, I would definitely say that this is clearly one of the weaker Disney Channel original movies. I think I'm just gonna say that it's definitively bad because I can't think of anything that I can say to prove to you that this movie is any way, shape, or form good. So starting off, this movie has like 2 likable characters, Rachel and Jackson. That's literally it. I mean, I like Doug, but that's just because he's Doug. I don't even know this character's real name. I don't even think I mentioned Taylor's best friend Yuki, who is so unimportant that, well, I didn't fucking mention her. But the biggest problem is that this movie is made in bad faith, and it really shows. If you're going to tackle a message like this, a bit more tact is required. They never made any effort in the movie to make any of the male characters feel like real characters outside of Jackson. And he's the character in the movie who's already supposed to be the perfect guy stereotype. So characterizing him as a real human kind of just comes off as stupid because he's already an archetype. It would have been a better idea to show the beauty and the flaws of her siblings instead. Maybe have it that Zach manages to make something edible for once, or maybe even Ben cleaning up after himself. It's just a little upsetting that this movie makes a really gross argument that men are gross and you just kind of have to live with it. Because after everything is put to normal, there's no catharsis for all the male characters. The movie just kind of ends. The movie should end with the men in her life wanting to do better after all that's happened and Zoe apologizing and talking to them about it. Another reason that the message in this movie feels so disingenuous is because the only person worse than Taylor in this movie is Zoe. I mean, she acts like she's better than everyone she attempts to control, but she uses her phone to decide her outfit every day. Say what you want about these guys, but at least they're free thinkers. I mean, okay, I don't know if thinking is the right word to use, but they're doing something that they enjoy with their lives, and that's more than I can say for Zoe. There is this one nice scene between Adam and Zoe that I did skip over for time reasons, but it's the only really good thing that this movie has going for it. And it also doesn't really do that much with controlling the men in her life anyway. Anyway, I'm giving Disney Channel Zapped a 3 out of 10 on the critical score. You can probably guess why. And for the fun score, actually I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I did complain a lot, but I did laugh a lot when watching this movie in my Discord channel with all of you guys. It was an enjoyable experience with friends, I'd say that much, but I can't really go much further than that. There are just so many other Disney Channel movies you'd be better off watching for a lot of other reasons. If you're not someone who likes how absurd the premise of this movie is, or you can't get behind it, you're really not gonna have any sort of good time with it. And that's okay, that's up to you, but just be warned, you are going to hate it if you can't deal with that. Anyway, now that that train wreck is over, let me explain where I've been. I moved. Yeah, I don't have a whole good setup over here. I have my camera set up in a weird spot. I'm in like the middle of my room against a bed. My green screen is underneath said bed under there, so I bought the green screen and only got to use it twice, once for a zombies video. So yeah, it's just kind of been hard, but I have graduated college, so I'm going to be uploading more hopefully, and I'm excited to be back. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I haven't posted in a while, so the YouTube algorithm's not favoring me. That's my fault. If you don't leave a like and you don't subscribe, I'll live. But for every 1 like on this video, I will bark once, record it, and publicly post it on a Facebook account that is followed by my friends and family. Honestly, my public humiliation ritual was going to pick up this shirt from the printers. Yeah, it was a good deal.